note with his name on it. There was no note. No.
So Drake and Josh is generally a episodic show, with not a lot of plot carrying out from one episode to another, which is why a series finale in general is an interesting concept for it. It's hard to judge a show that doesn't pride itself on continuity or character development when really it's meant to be one-off. But as a nostalgia YouTuber, I need closure. I followed this show for like 4 years growing up and then 50 years after it, even though I'm 28, I think. Recently, when I revisited all 4 seasons, it made it a lot more important that I got a payoff toward the end of my endeavor. So I wanted to go through again the finale of Drake and Josh and talk about if it really was worth it. I was surprised to find some interesting turn of events, like Helen getting married, Drake getting into the record business, even Josh becoming a manager. So do these new factors, these coming-of-age events, make Drake and Josh worse or better? Let's dive into the series finale, Really Big Shrimp. So Drake and Josh didn't do a lot of special episodes like iCarly or Victorious did, mainly 1 2-part episode, and it was its final one. Really Big Shrimp. Now, as you guys have been told before on my channel, this episode is the finale. It's just aired earlier. I guess we're just gonna have to put that out of the way for a second. This one is about Drake's career, which is exciting. We kind of end on one promising note, and of course, it's everything that Drake and Josh needs to be. There's fighting, there's resolution, and there's a lot of fires. And of course, Drake and Josh being threatened to go to jail once again. Apparently Josh ate Crazy Steve's last enchilada, so he's like freaking out and running around.
I didn't know it was your enchilada. I just saw it in the fridge and there was no note on it. No note.
It's all right. I understand.
And Drake is about to have a really important concert with a guy from a record label about to see. I guess they're putting this whole thing together for him to sing one song. Helen doesn't recognize Walter, which is hilarious.
Hey, who's the dude? Oh, that's my husband, Walter.
We've met like 5 times.
Well, I do not remember you.
No one does.
And she's gonna get married next week to somebody I guess we never met before. And they volunteer to take Helen's grandmother in for the wedding.
Ah, it's no trouble.
Okay, then I'll tell my grandmother she can stay at your house.
So Mindy ends up upstaging Josh at his own job. So on top of grieving their relationship like Josh has done in the past, it seems like he also has to deal with her getting hired at the premiere.
Mr. Krim, I think you know who this guy is.
Drake Parker, I'm very excited to hear you play live. Don't screw this up.
This song that Drake plays is like definitely one of the best songs in the whole show. I love that it's the finale and even better than the theme song, if that's not controversial. But Mindy's dancing in this, so this is kind of weird because she hates him. I don't know why she'd be so supportive. So the record producer says that they blew his underwear off, which is something Josh tried to coin. And they invite them down to LA. Josh says the album cover could be Drake in the ocean riding a black dolphin, which is so funny to visualize. The episode feels like at first it's trying to prove it's episodic, like setting up a bunch of stuff that seems like it could be resolved in one episode, but it's a lot more closure driven.
Have a little better attitude about this? We're doing a nice thing for a sweet old lady.
Where's the bathroom?
The grandmother enters and is like super overbearing as she lives with them, and Megan is told she has to sleep in Drake and Josh's room.
The 3 of you will be fine for a week.
Oh, this is horrible.
It's not that bad.
Oh, no!
Helen even says, Drake, I prefer him, when introducing them.
Lula, that's Josh. He works with me at the premiere. That's Drake. I prefer him. That's Megan, Miss Parker, and this is,
So they get to the record label, and Drake, of course, hits on the assistants. Kind of reminds me of Tori Goes Platinum in this scene, with this whole record label thing. But the only difference is Drake Bell ended up having a music career, and Tori Vega didn't really. Ariana Grande did, and she didn't have an episode about it. The executive, Nick, which is weird because, of course, Nickelodeon, his name's Nick, weird. He's kind of gangster. He's cool. So they want the song to promote Deka's shoes. Kind of reminds me of that episode I Promote Tech Foot from iCarly.
Okay, just gonna do a quick mic check here.
Drake, just gonna do a quick mic check. Over.
You really don't need to say over.
Roger that.
Josh is really annoying in the recording studio. Of course, he, doesn't fit into this world at all. He, pretends he knows the lingo. And Drake even gets assigned an assistant named Frank, which doesn't really lead to much. The lawyer tries to give Josh the contract since he's the manager, but he's too distracted by the big shrimp to read the contract and just signs it.
But this sound booth costs like $1,000 an hour, so if you could just sign the deal.
Yeah,
Weird reason to sign it, but this is supposed to be a reference to the Amanda Show. On their last appearance on that show, they fight over shrimp, and that famously got them, Drake and Josh. So there's a little backstory there, but I don't know anybody who doesn't know that already. So they get back to their rooms, and Megan has changed everything. Drake and Josh's entire room is now Megan's, essentially.
you had no right to feminize our room.
And things get a little bit worse.
Highly intelligent and has no criminal record.
Even Helen names Mindy the Premier's manager. Josh is super upset. Josh tries to make it personal that Mindy is the manager.
I didn't go to Helen, all right? She came to me.
You just like to beat me at everything, all right? It gives you some kind of cheap thrill, always has.
Josh, that's not
You know,
what
I've never felt better about the fact that we broke up.
Okay, I don't think you're being
You
entirely
forget
fair.
it. I'm taking a break.
Fair, Josh. You can't just make this personal just because she's your boss. So Drake and Josh go to the record label and they show them a poppy version of Drake's song, which sounds really bad, and Drake is super upset.
What do you think?
Well,
I hate it.
But apparently Josh signed a contract that said they had the right to do whatever they wanted with the song. Oh, geez. So Drake is super angry and the two have a breakup, supposedly, as they always do, in the record studio. It's nice because since this is the finale, the stakes feel really high and maybe they could potentially not make up over this, but obviously the episode order didn't help that. Drake is trying to get revenge on the executive by putting fruit flies in the guy's car, but obviously Josh tries to talk him out of that.
That when people play dirty, sometimes you gotta play dirty back. That's what you don't get. You always gotta play by the rules.
rules are the foundation of a gentle society.
And he just feels terrible, so he goes to the studio to try to get him to do the other song. After being rejected again, Josh ends up switching the CDs. So the woman takes the wrong song.
Yeah. Hey, here it is. Oh, take a shoe commercial. Super Bowl final mix. Here you go.
Finally, everybody gathers to watch the Super Bowl where Drake's song is about to premiere, and they play the original song, the good song, and everybody's super happy, and we feel like it's resolved until Josh gets a phone call.
Oh, did you see the commercial?
You saw it?
Ooh, what did he say about you switching the songs?
He said it was illegal and a violation of our contract, and the record label's gonna sue us for $5 million. Oh, and we could possibly go to prison.
Is that my mom on the phone? Tell her I need new Batman socks.
Why would I be talking to your mother on my phone?
Apparently, what he did was illegal, and he's gonna get fined $5 million and potentially end up in jail. Which is crazy, because it's like, how did you convey that much information over like a less than 30-second phone call? So later, Mindy can't handle Crazy Steve, so the premiere is basically going haywire until Josh saves the day.
Mountain when she
Like, he's actually good at his job. And hopefully they recognize it now. She admits that she has just signed up for this job to get closer to him. It's sad because it's like everything feels like a lot more positive, but we still have that looming threat of the record label over us.
Dude, wait. No, I can't wait. That was Nick Mateo.
The president of Spin City Records?
DNL everything.
Drake and Josh are called to Spin City Records, and Drake takes the blame with Josh, showing that they've made up about the situation, which is really sweet.
In the last 24 hours, we've had over 30,000 emails and phone calls from fans wanting to buy your song.
They end up liking that he switched the song, so he tells them they've got a record deal.
So, I take it we're not in trouble anymore?
On the contrary, we'd like to sign a multi-record contract with Drake.
Which I will read.
Thank you.
So everything works out. Finally, we get one more moment, a wedding at the premiere. It's really sweet to look at this, especially since this is such a central hub to the show. And of course, a fire has to happen, so everybody evacuates.
Okay, we have a small fire. If everyone...
And they're stuck in the parking lot. But they make the most of it, kind of like the Storm episode.
Okay, there was a little fire. We're a big fire.
And it feels like things are starting to slow down, the pacing's a lot more chill, Mindy and Josh fully decide to get back together, and Drake kisses a random girl.
Hi, I'm Drake.
Carrie.
Helen's upset at first, but then she realizes that getting married in a parking lot is just as romantic, and they throw Jake up on the truck and he performs the song one last time, finally closing the series of Drake and Josh. Oh, this was such a good episode, and I love that they actually milked a lot of these moments to give more time and closure to it.
I want the shrimp.
I want it.
I want it.
Would you give it?
Hey, no, give it. No, give it to me. No, I want the shrimp. Will you give it to me?
But don't cry too much, because now we're gonna have to get to the final 2 aired episodes. Yeah, so was that satisfying for you guys? I'd love to open a discussion to see if Drake and Josh ended the way it started. Was it strong? Was it necessary? I feel like this show tries so hard not to make itself seem important, not in a way that iCarly did, where everything was an event, or Victorious, where everything needed to have more episodes. They went out with a pretty subtle episode, trying not to get our hopes up or make anything bad happen. And for somebody who really likes the follow-up movie, Merry Christmas, Drake and Josh, I'd say I'm pretty happy with the way things left off. Like, we didn't need too much closure, but we also didn't shy away from having it at all. You know, like Helen getting married, everything going on was just necessary, I feel like. So overall, it's good that the first special of Drake and Josh just happens to be the best, and the last episode in general.
What's up, everybody? If you're wondering what's playing behind me, it's my own video. Yeah, somebody's gotta watch them, right? We are gonna be going over some of the finales of my favorite shows from the 2000s. I already have a big plan to go over all of them, like Sweet Life, Hannah Montana, like all the ones that I've really liked, but I think it's time to start with one of the more interesting ones, which is Wizards of Waverly Place. Disney Channel's really interesting when they did their series to movies, because it was never like quite at the end or quite at the beginning like Jimmy Neutron was or SpongeBob was supposed to be. So I'm not surprised that, like Hannah Montana, the movie was placed right before the last season. I mean, I don't understand why they think that's helpful. It definitely is confusing to have a plot that's so big it justifies a movie, but not big enough that it takes over the rest of the show, and not big enough that it doesn't have lasting impact over the rest of the show. Like, for me, that's hard. It's hard to press the reset button and go back to a sitcom after you had a big cinematic experience. We've been thinking about the wizarding competition since it was mentioned in season 1 of Wizards of Waverly Place, and it's always been this kind of like end game for Wizards. Like, we knew that this was going to be where it ended. And if anything, they did it in the movie a little bit prematurely, because we expected it to be at the very end of the series, but it came up earlier in order to resolve the plot. Apparently that was the only way to finish off that plot. So now that we're jumping back into the final episode, it's almost like, what are we going to expect? Like, how is this going to play out? Especially if we're used to this huge cinematic experience. Knowing that that was the end of something else, and this is going to be the end of the whole series, how are they going to match up with it? It's almost impossible not to compare the two. And that kind of makes me sad, because you shouldn't be comparing it to one another. You should be excited that it's going to be doing something new. But you know what? Series finales for kid shows must be so hard, because it's like you only have 60 to 80 episodes to really establish the full show as it is. So this is the first time I've actually seen this. I watched all of Wizards up until season 3, and then I stopped watching after the movie, I believe. So this is going to be really fun for me to jump back in. I definitely think it'll inspire me to watch the rest of the series and maybe continue doing my retrospectives, but only if you guys really show a lot of interest in that. I don't really want to waste my time too much, but I love Alex, Justin, and Max. It's one of the funniest Disney Channel shows ever, and it's so down to earth despite being about wizards. My expectations are it's probably not going to be as good as the movie, so I want to keep my mind open to think that maybe it's going to be good in its own right, maybe it's going to give the series a very respectable ending, and I'm excited to see how that's going to play out. So without further ado, let's dive in to the final episode of Wizards of Waverly Place, the 2-part episode. Okay, so we're at a dinner that Alex made with completely no magic, which is a surprise because Alex is known to abuse magic. So they're interrupted when Headmaster Crumbs appears, because apparently the selfish act activates the Russo family wizard competition. I don't know why her specifically making dinner would have done that, but whatever, I guess.
All she did was open up a jar of spaghetti sauce and made pizza wrong. You
take what you can get.
So they're sprung into the family competition, which we know from the feature film kind of what it's gonna look like. We have a little bit of expectations here. I definitely was not expecting a sitcom set with a game show-like setup. It's a little jarring, to say the most. So round one of the competition is a trivia round. Everybody's like joking about how Max isn't gonna get it. Like Jerry assumes it's gonna be Alex. Teresa thinks it's gonna be Justin. It's all over the place here. And there's bleachers. It's like a high school football game. Round one is the competition round, in which questions about magic and spells are asked. When they start the competition, we see this guy from Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that show, but he's the MC here, and he's really funny. Before they get on stage, Jerry makes the kids promise to each other that they would stick together no matter what. No matter how this goes, they would be there for one another.
Not to me, to yourselves.
I promise.
I promise.
I promise.
So Max gets the first answer right, but Justin tries to correct him, and oh my god, Justin, really? Right now? He's kind of annoying. Juliet and Mason, you know, the significant others of Alex and Justin, show up too, and it's even more like a football game as they're getting ready to cheer on the competition.
Max, you know that button is not a microphone and we haven't started the questions yet, right?
The answer to that is no, I did not know. We did not start the question.
It's an interesting concept of pitting siblings against each other, kind of like a chicken fight, or putting animals in a cage and making them wrestle. Like it feels a little weird in that sense. It's really hard for me not to compare this to the movie, and I cannot get over it. Like, I wish the set was a little bit more realistic, because the one that was in the movie was just so intense. You can tell they were on location, you could tell that everything was high stakes, high energy, and then here we're at a game show. It's hard to get on the realistic side, but you know, I'm trying to keep my mind open here. Master Crumb is really funny. I feel like if he was in the movie or had some part of realistic connection or association with that environmental location, it could have really impacted this set a lot better. It could have been like, okay, we're associating him with the quality of the competition, and now this is another one. But since that is so separate, like the movie reality from Professor Crumb, it feels like this is a set. I wish they spent time in this so far establishing character flaws and stakes. It feels like they kind of just jumped right into, oh, there's going to be a competition, and we didn't really get time to understand that. It feels like they kind of relied on the entire series to feel like a first act. Like, usually we get to see everybody's main problem, their goal, but I feel like it's a little lazy to lean on the entire series to be like, oh, like, you guys know the flaws, you know this, like, let's just jump to the competition, let's get to the action. And I'm not sure if that's a fair way to set up storytelling devices like that. At least this is in HD. I mean, I'm so tired of seeing those bars on the side of the screen. It looks at really high quality. And then the B plot, we have Harper and Zeke, you know, the humans, and they're hanging out in the wizard lair, and Zeke accidentally turns purple. So we're back at the competition, and during the second round, Harper and Zeke appear. The purple substance on him actually causes one of the griffins that Alex is working on to kidnap him and Harper and fly away. Oh my god, this is terrifying.
This is probably a good time to go to commercial. We might be right back.
Only really Alex is concerned about them. I don't know why Justin and Max have no empathy here, but she's the one pushing to actually do something about it. Okay, so it seems like everybody's a little out of their characters, but I mean, I appreciate that Alex is showing selflessness. Like, it's really important. Like, this whole episode, I really hope they emphasize her likable sides, especially since this is the last time we're probably gonna see them, as it's a two-part finale. So Alex manages to convince Justin and Max to all sacrifice their timeouts for a full 45-minute timeout in order to go help their friends.
All right, come on, let's go.
I hate how Justin hesitates on this one. Like, Justin, you're kind of cold in this. I mean, maybe they're setting up for him not to win in that instance, because it's like, why would you be so hesitant here? But then they eventually give in and they decide to go. So they head over to this really rocky, deserted landscape, and it's actually kind of beautiful. It definitely reminds me of the movie. It does a really good job at looking realistic and not just green screen like it usually would. I'm really happy that the flying carpets are incorporated too. Like, that's a good throwback. And I don't know, the cinematography here just really works for me. I'm happy with how this is panning out. Oh wait, and then they're on a set again. Okay, so now all these rocks and being on the set definitely takes me out of it. But you know, whatever. I'm gonna excuse it because so far it's beat my expectations in how good it is so far. It's not like this TV show isn't given care, but I feel like the issue is this should have been a movie. You know, like this could have been a sequel or the first movie, but unfortunately that's not the cards we were dealt. They find Harper in this giant nest, and it's so gross. And Justin is okay with leaving behind Zeke, which is like, what the heck, Justin? Why are you so unlikable in this section?
Guys, there is no time. We'll come back for him later.
No, I am not leaving without Zeke.
Harper, I was just being a nice guy. There was no coming back for Zeke.
But then Zeke eventually does come out, and he reveals that he clog danced his way out of the Griffin's stomach. Ew, what? The Griffin comes back and attacks all three of them. So Justin, Alex, and Max have to work together to stop it.
You guys know my favorite distraction, right?
Once they're finally able to save their friends, stop the Griffin, they come back to the competition site and it's vastly empty. It turns out that that time ran out. Like, it's all done. Professor Crumbs comes back.
The competition is over.
Awesome, who won?
No way, we called a timeout.
Which expired. That says the competition for you. You are hereby disqualified.
And it suddenly gets really sad. Like, I feel like it was very cheery up until this point, and it took a really dark turn to see that, like, all three main characters would not be keeping their powers. And Professor Crumbs even says, like, this is the last time I will ever see you.
But the Russo family line of wizards will end forever.
Professor Crumbs.
Your wands, please.
The music works really well here. It feels like this is definitely an emotional scene, and while it would have been better in a film format, I definitely think they did a good job at capturing the emotions here. But that's the thing, if Crumbs was in the movie, that might help a little bit more, because the fact that we're never going to see this man again is really sad, but it relies on you having known him throughout the whole series. If you're just jumping in, like, it's kind of like, why is this guy so impactful to them? And I wish he had a little bit more significance, like, not like a main character, but at least as, like, important as Harper, or having an inspirational moment with him, so we actually care specifically that he is not going to be here anymore. So the guy who wrote the Hannah Montana movie, the Wizards of Waverly Place movie, Dan Berenson. He wrote the movie. I don't know why he couldn't do the finale, because he did a phenomenal job on that. I really wish a feature film movie writer put this in. I mean, but that's just me trying to turn this into a movie. I get it. It's a TV show. I'm trying to accept that fact. So we end on everybody kind of being really depressed, and that is a good way to end the first part. And that's where we finally get to the actual final episode of Wizards of Waverly Place. So Justin and Max are super angry, Alex feels super guilty, and they're all blaming her for it, when I would kind of be mad at the friends.
Alex just cut down our family tree and burned it.
I told you that I thought we would make it back in time.
Come on, Justin. Now's not the time to point fingers, honey.
Suddenly, like, the world is starting to erupt, and the lair closes, and it actually disappears. The lair's entrance even turns back into a fridge. Like, and this is really depressing. Like, I love how intense this is getting. Obviously better for a movie, but, you know, whatever. To think this is the final episode of the show, having all these really depressing things happen is really exciting. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Not exciting, but it feels like something really impactful is about to happen. It feels like things could end this way. Like, there's a lot more at stake than a season finale, than anything else possible, and I love that it's working in that sense. And it's really leading us to believe that it might not, and it does a great job at that. I even feel bad for Jerry, who is so heartbroken when his kids break up, essentially.
I know none of this worked out like you hoped, but I need you to get past it. Put your differences aside and work together.
The resentment is really fun. Even Max is mad. I mean, it's not even in a humorous sense. It's just like, everybody's just genuinely mad. And apparently weeks even go by when Harper and Alex are walking down the exterior of the substation, and Alex doesn't want to see Max or Justin, and Justin and Max don't want to see Alex. And it's really sad because Max has always kind of been a bystander. He never really took anything super against Alex, but now it feels like they're all divided. I wish this is kind of where the whole thing started. Like, I wish this whole special started with this. That way it could lead to something when we got to the second act and it be the wizard family competition. The dad comes out and actually puts up a sign that says he's closing down the sub shop. All the kids are like, what? Why would you do that?
Dad, what's happening?
Selling the business.
What? Why?
We're not much of a family anymore.
And it's like, obviously, you guys aren't even friends anymore. Nobody's gonna, you know, like, this isn't a family shop anymore. And the weight of everything hits Alex. Alex wants to be the only optimistic one, so she actually starts unpacking the boxes and is like, no, I'm gonna make sure this still happens. You know, the fact that they don't know who they are outside of being wizards is so, like, they're trying to find out who they really are. They essentially believe they have no purpose because of not being wizards, and that is really interesting. I like how the scenes aren't really ending on jokes, they're ending on more, like, character-based moments, and that's kind of like a feature film-like thing, so I wish they just committed to it, but whatever. So the kids have to learn how to work together through this sub shop, and like they're trying to reopen it, but Alex and Justin obviously are completely at odds and fight each other, and it's really sad. But it kind of reminds me of the first season when they were so against each other that it was just so hard for them to work together, and having them fight is just a nice callback to the first season. Slowly, Justin and Max start to act a lot more caring toward Alex, and it seems like they're rebuilding their relationship along with the sub shop, and it's very meaningful. The musical montage is so endearing, and it like brings back all these season 1 vibes. Seeing Justin be so cold toward Alex and Max is like really cool because he is such a complex character. Like when he's mad, he is so flawed, and when he's a good person, it's like so earned, and I like that. He's not just a comedic relief character. Imagine if Josh were David Henry's part, Josh Peck. That would be really funny.
I can't believe how busy we were.
Yeah, Alex had so much going on. She made a sandwich with peanut butter on the outside of the bread.
No, I did that on purpose. That's what a 40-year-old gets for ordering off the kids' menu.
Alex actually apologizes to the family, and it's so meaningful.
I'm really sorry for messing up the wizard competition.
Suddenly, they are whisked back to the competition again. Oh god, this set. I love how they're warped with the booth, and Harper didn't come along. Like, if Teresa came along, why didn't Harper come along? And how did they get that out of there? Apparently, they revealed that the Griffin was a test that tests the siblings' bond, specifically for the Russos.
What do I know you for?
What? Okay, so if this was a test, why did it go on for multiple weeks? Was it really that important? Apparently, the Griffin was supposed to take Professor Crumb.
But apparently, he was hungry for something a little fresher, and he went for your colorful friend instead.
I wish we set up a little bit earlier that all these games would be more psychological than necessarily magic. I like that it's focused on magic but gets psychological, but I still feel like we could have leaned into that a little bit more than the game show aspect. But hey, there's still time. It's exciting to come back to this game show knowing that their relationship is so on the rocks. Like, these guys could stop being friends at any moment. Like, they've just started getting their relationship back on track. It feels like there's going to be a lot more at stake. So Alex starts to show promise of winning as they start to go through the final test. It actually shows them scenes from the former episodes, and like it's kind of asking them which spells they used, and it's really cool because Alex of course knows all of this because she made the most mistakes, and it's kind of a metaphor for the people who fail more often are always the ones who end up more successful because they learn, they grow, and Justin really has a tough time dealing with this. Like, he even gets an answer wrong. I'm really worried about these guys being siblings after this. Like, I don't even care who's the family wizard anymore. Finally, they're given one last competition, and they're all dressed up in their nice wardrobe, and I actually really like the purple. It looks good. They run off, and they're back into another vast landscape, but it kind of looks more like the one they fought the Griffin in, so I'm not super excited to see it again. I wish it was like a desert or like something unique, you know? There's a large path of rocks, and Max goes first with Justin following, and then finally Alex surpasses all of them and gets to the next section. It's interesting because Alex is doing such a good job, and we're actually really worried about her losing. Finally, the last part of this challenge is this giant labyrinth. Oh my god, this maze looks horrifying. I can't believe how long it lasts. I'm like having trouble who we're following here. Like,
Can you guys be quiet? I'm in a maze.
they definitely split the characters evenly across this episode, which is more of a television thing. Like, if this were a movie, we would have to follow Justin, have to follow Alex. Like, it's a little bit more structured in who we're rooting for, but the fact that like it's very evenly placed is kind of exciting. I am curious who's gonna win. Justin gets trapped inside one of the dead ends, and it's terrifying. Honestly, if you put me in this, I would die. I don't even know if I would look for a little bit, I would try to get my way out, but like honestly, like seeing so many dead ends, I would just sit down and accept my fate. Okay, so after this tiring, exhausting maze, they finally get out, and surprise, it's Justin. Well, it's not not really a surprise. We know he's the most responsible one, but I guess we expected Alex to win, since she's like kind of the main character. Justin is about to be crowned the full wizard. It's nice to see the siblings accept this fact, like we're so worried about their relationship, and it feels very fulfilling that it's still safe. But he reveals that he didn't deserve it.
What's doing? What do you mean?
Justin, don't do this.
I have to.
Because back when they were at the last section of the competition, Justin got stuck and Alex was about to win, but she decided to go back and help him. And the three stopped right at the exit door before the competition won. I love this moment where it's just them standing outside the door. It's like, it didn't even matter how much obstacles they just went through. They're all evenly played here. And so she let Justin win. Justin is caring and says that she deserved to win. And I was worried that Justin would get really mad at her, but the fact that he's the one to claim that Alex deserves it makes it all feel worth it. Professor Crumbs finally crowns Alex the full wizard, and we feel bad for Justin, until Professor Crumbs reveals that he is going to be leaving WizTech and needs somebody to fulfill his spot.
And because of your integrity and knowledge, I want you to take my place.
But I'm not a wizard.
Asking Justin to do that, and he gives him back his powers as full wizard. And they finally give Max the sub shop since everybody else has gotten something and everybody feels bad.
So Alex and Justin get to be wizards, and I get the family substation. That's awesome! Guess what, guys? I get the substation!
And this is where it ends. Whew, okay. So that was definitely a better episode than I thought. I think part 1 was a little laggy and I spent a little too much time trying to accept the fact that the movie wasn't the final thing, which I know they never anticipated that being, but for some reason that experience, the way it was presented, just set the expectations so high. And I do feel like my expectations were somewhat met. There were definitely no disappointments during this special. I mean, we could have did a little bit better with the sets and coinciding the movie with the series, but for what they were given and how they made it work, I was very impressed. Not only did they still go out of the bounds of the actual set, but all the characters had a meaningful conclusion to where they were going. Like, nobody really got the short end of the stick, despite the fact that it's literally meant to have one winner. Like, the wizard competition is only allowed to crown one person. And it seems like in most scenarios, the audience wouldn't be happy because we've grown to love and care about all these characters. I definitely give this whole thing an 8 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10, actually. The movie, I give a 10 out of 10, but 8.5 out of 10 is great for a TV show finale.
Final episode of iCarly. Wow, way to bring us all down. And they've saved the best for last. Be here for the final web show.
What the blazes are you doing? I'm tickling your squirrel.
Join in on one last adventure.
Who's all handsome in his fancy tuxedo?
Me! And get ready for the ultimate surprise.
You need to meet our very special guest, my dad!
So Spencer's not her dad.
Don't miss the final episode of iCarly, Goodbye.
I love you guys.
Friday, November 23rd at 8, part of Thanksgiving weekend on Nick.
iCarly, Goodbye is a lot more emotional and actually pretty good than I remembered. I mean, the whole 5th and 6th season, quote-unquote, were actually really far off from what it originally was like. Like, the whole two girls starting a web show just became a bunch of nonsensical, cynical characters just beating each other up essentially through a bunch of random teenage plot lines. That's all I gotta say about it. But the final episode was actually a really good departure from that. If anything, they tried to bring as much of the original identity back as possible. We start off at the school with Miss Briggs and Freddie, and it all feels very nostalgic to what it was at the beginning. Although I feel like it's hard to acknowledge that these kids have been in high school for like 6 years at this point. There's a lot of plots going on in this episode, of which I will summarize pretty quickly. So one is that Spencer is trying to fix up this motorcycle for his buddy Sacco, a friend that they've mentioned a lot of times in the past and for some reason don't mention at all in the revival. I don't want to talk about it right now though. And Gibby needs to get back his head. Yeah, he has a wax figure head he takes around that I wish I could explain to you in 2 minutes, but it's complicated. Carly's whole dilemma in this episode is she wants to go to a father-daughter dance, but her dad is not going to be able to make it in time. So she's kind of depressed this whole episode. Everybody really makes an appearance, like Lubert comes in, Miss Briggs, like I said before. It's nice to see a lot of familiar faces in this. A sad thing about it, though, is Spencer does end up so sick because of Lubert, which kind of fun callback, and isn't able to take Carly anymore, which is actually kind of sad. Meanwhile, Sam ends up facing Dan Schneider. Yeah, Dan Schneider plays a part in this finale, which is kind of insane because he also does the same thing in Drake and Josh. Oh my gosh, I never realized this. Spencer ends up pulling himself together to go to the dance, but it becomes way too sick to go, which is so sad for Carly. So Carly's pretty depressed for this final episode, as all main characters would be, and they play actually an interesting version of the theme song. We get a nice moment addressing Carly and Sam's relationship toward the end, where it's revealed that it's just always going to be a cliffhanger, like we're never gonna see it for sure, and Gibby goes crazy in the store. Gibby ends up walking away with a ferret, which is interesting because obviously he has it in the Gibby pilot, so I'm not going to talk about that. Freddie and Gibby try to cheer up Carly by dressing in tuxes and offering to take her to the dance, which is actually a sweet moment, but she doesn't accept it. Kind of disrespectful, Carly. I feel like that was a nice moment. And her dad actually does show up, so everything kind of works out in the end. They end up going to the dance and even having a nice hat party at the end, kind of a reflection of the pilot episode. We think all the conflict's over until Carly's dad invites her to live in Italy with him, and then everybody's like pretty supportive of her doing that. And it's kind of sad. I feel like this would never happen today. Like, if you were an influencer making this kind of money, why would you walk away from it? I don't know, Carly. Carly and Spencer's dad even makes a guest appearance on their show, which is actually really sweet. And Carly says one final goodbye live on the internet, and it is really depressing. She says goodbye to Spencer in their apartment, and I feel horrible, but she's becoming an adult, and I guess when you turn 18, you automatically have different responsibilities, so she's not even gonna take her time leaving. Which, by the way, I feel kind of bad for Spencer. He just did her entire room all over again with season 4's beginning, and now she's leaving. Like, what's he gonna do with a teenage girl's bedroom? Like, there's nothing they could do with that room. Everybody says goodbye to Carly one last time, and Sam gets the last goodbye, giving her her blue remote, symbolizing the true end. And we see a sneak peek of everybody's Twitter, oh my gosh, on the plane. And I'm on the plane right now editing this, isn't that funny? We get one quick snippet of the first moments we had of the characters in the pilot, which is actually really sweet. And Sam drives off into the distance, ending the episode. So yeah, goodbye. What a great finale and way to use a 2-part episode. There's been a lot of good double-length episodes and bad ones, with some of the best being I Goodbye, I Fight Shelby Marks, I Shock America, and with some of the really boring and useless ones being I Start a Fan War, I Still Psycho, and I Date a Bad Boy. I don't know what else to say about these. All I know is that the strange history of iCarly specials is hard to ignore. The quality of I Go to Japan and I Party with Victorious are even more impossible to ignore. I can't believe they left that stain on our society. Chasing Zoey Part 1 and Chasing Zoey Part 2. So everybody's getting ready for summer, talking about their plans, and apparently Zoey's going to be going to Hawaii to be a cabana girl. I don't know why you're not aiming higher, like something academic, but I guess this is good for you, Zoey. And meanwhile, James can't go with her because he's working with his dad over the hardware store. A really unnecessary backstory that was added to James in the diner episode that I don't think we need to revisit. Meanwhile, they're playing this really ridiculous game that everybody puts their finger in this little device and it shocks you. Kind of reminds me of playing Operation when you're trying to take out all the body parts from the guy without getting zapped. That was a throwback. In Michael's subplot, he reveals to Lisa his new car that's a stick shift, and she's like, you don't know how to drive it? And I vaguely remember this premise. Like, I remember when I was learning to drive thinking that stick shifts were different because of something in teen TV, and I definitely think this must have been it. So maybe that's what we're going for here. In the meantime, everybody's getting ready for this prom, and Lola is so excited because she is going to be the one in charge of it, and she asks Quinn to do everything for her, which is kind of disrespectful. Quinn can't do the prom committee, so she can only find Stacy to help her. Lola gives her assignments that more so have to do with her personal life, so she can work on the prom stuff, which isn't technically an incorrect thing. Like, I get you need more time to do it, but I don't think you're supporting the prom by doing Lola's chores. I don't know, Stacy. Meanwhile, Logan is telling Quinn that he asked somebody to the prom in order to, like, kind of make it look like they're not together. She obviously gets really angry. Meanwhile, James has good news. He wants to go to Hawaii with Zoey. It's really sweet because she also gets a necklace and he says, I love you with it. I don't know if you noticed, but right before he gives it to her, she's on iCarly.com. Like, look at this screenshot. Oh my gosh, it's not subtle at all. Meanwhile, Michael really wants to learn how to do a stick shift, but doesn't know how until this random old man comes by and he serves as like this Mr. Miyagi type, trying to teach him how to do a stick shift, kind of like it's a super big karate dojo type situation.
That's very nice, but
You want to drive stick shift?
yeah, but
You wish me to teach you?
sure.
When Zoey gets the bracelet, she's a little bit conflicted about it because we get a blackout, and usually don't get a blackout unless you should be scared of something happening. Zoey is nervous to say she loves him back, and Lola and Quinn are really annoyed about it. They're like, how could you not? And it's like, okay guys, give her a break. And then Michael finally gets his first lesson with this really scary guy that keeps appearing in the parking lot.
What? You cannot learn to drive a stick shift until you learn to drive a stick shift.
He asks him to make him food for him, as if it's going to be a part of the stick shift situation, and he does it anyway. I don't know why you'd believe them, Michael. I'd be scared of this man. Quinn decides she's going to take helm of who Logan will take to the dance. They both have to bargain of, like, who it's going to be, and it's definitely a funny trope. I can't believe they're still trying to hide this relationship. I didn't think it would go on for, like, 6 episodes. I thought there was, like, some amount of time where we actually did see them together, but I guess it was all in hiding, because nobody here knows. James even spots the two, and they keep it a secret, so they're still ashamed. What can you do? We get a peek into his plot, because apparently he can't find Zoey. She's not meeting at their usual places, which is kind of sad, because they're kind of a good couple. I feel like they were really working out for what they were, and seeing Zoey so spooked when she finds out that he loves her is definitely scary. This old man invites himself into Michael's dorm and gets him to feed him once again, and he's stepping on berries in this moment. Like, why does Michael have to step on berries to make him juice? Like, this doesn't really help anybody. It's definitely reminding me of the Mr. Doheny episode of Drake and Josh, where they keep inviting himself into inappropriate parts of their life. Like, this man is just inserting himself. When Michael approaches him about conning him and trying to get him to make food for him to eat, he realizes that it was a part of the lesson to learn how to drive a stick shift. So he gets to drive all throughout the parking lot. Yay! Next thing you know, Zoey has to confront James about the fact that he loves her and she's not said anything back yet. A common trope in teen sitcoms that I actually really like. It's definitely a big moment when you tell somebody you love them, and I feel like there's nothing more important when you're in a relationship at this age than that. You know, like, that is the highest authority. It's like the going steady of our generation. Zoey uses prom as an excuse to keep dodging James until she could figure out her feelings. But poor guy, he is not happy about this. We go back to Quinn and Logan, and what do you know? Cotton Swab Girl is the perfect candidate. So Logan asks Stacy to the prom. Something exactly what Quinn wanted. And I agree, that's like a great idea, and it doesn't make anybody uncomfortable. Logan seeks revenge and is like, okay, now I get to pick out your prom date. Guess who it is? It's Dustin. Can you imagine? So yeah, Dustin and Quinn are going to the dance together. James goes to talk to Zoey about what's been really going on, and she admits that she might not love him back and that there's something in the way. He's surprisingly patient. He's like, yeah, definitely. He's like such a gentleman in a way that I don't think any boy this age would actually be. Like, he's too respectful. And I'm dying to hear Zoey say she misses Chase. Like, I feel like that's the whole thing she's getting at, but it doesn't end on that. It ends on them breaking up, and that's kind of where we leave Zoey 101. Oh wait, there's one more episode. The grand finale of Zoey 101, Chasing Zoey Part 2. Before we go to the final episode, let's do a gameplay. So far we're about to finish the season. We get barely any of Dustin this season. Nothing. Lola is in a relationship with Vince Blake. That was kind of random. Zoey had a relationship with James, but then they just broke up. That's also happening. Michael and Lisa are still together, and Quinn and Logan are still a secret. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to be resolved in this episode, and a lot of stuff we're saying goodbye to overall in the whole show. This whole prom that they were talking about in the midst of the last episode is everything that the episode is leading up to now. Zoey's depressed about the breakup, which is cool because I never seen Zoey have a breakup before, you know? Like, it's definitely unfamiliar territory, and crazy that we're ending the show on an episode about something she's never been through. Like, I wish they just threw this in the plot. She's, like, definitely heartbroken and doesn't know what to do. Quinn and Lola are trying to cheer her up, but she says she doesn't even want to go to the prom. Dustin is getting way too old for this show, and you could tell because his voice has dropped significantly. He's here to take Quinn to the dance. For some reason, Quinn finds it necessary for one last time to throw a bomb at one of the robotics kids that are walking by. You remember them from the Robot Wars episode? Yeah, that's crazy. So everybody's gussied up and heading over to prom, and it's looking like a really sweet time. Dustin takes Quinn on his bike, and it is kind of adorable. I love how they are going to the prom together, and you get to see this moment in the opening title sequence. Oh my gosh, there's such a funny scene where Zoey isn't going to the prom, and the news guy hits on her, which is so ridiculous because he already has a prom date that is literally standing right there. So disrespectful.
I'll be your date.
You're taking Martha.
I'll get rid of her.
Jeremiah,
Yes?
go.
Lola is going to prom in a cab. It's kind of like a messy Uber driver situation where they have this driver, which should look familiar to you, talking on the phone the entire time and pretty much ruining their prom trip, not able to get them there at all. He abandons them on the side of the road. Guess who this man is? Yeah, that's Dan Schneider, the guy who created all of this stuff. I don't really want to talk about him because I feel like he doesn't deserve a lot of attention compared to the work he's done, but it is crazy to note that he's put himself in this, literally, the finale of Zoey 101. And I don't think I knew this growing up. I definitely don't remember him being here. This is quite the surprise. But you know what? That's him. You could tell his voice. Finally, we've come to the final prom. We get a moment with every character dancing with one another. Oof, Mark Del Figolo's in it. That's a nice callback. And Dustin is way too short for Quinn, so it's just plain embarrassing. You guessed it, Logan is dancing with Stacy, and it's embarrassing. Lola and Vince are on this big escapade to get to the prom, and they even run into the robot nerds who convince them that it is the end of the world. Well, not convince them, they say it's the end of the world and just appear crazy, because it's not, you know? And we get a really big surprise. Zoey gets a call from an unknown number on her pair phone. Who is it? None other than Chase Matthews. So Zoey and him have a really intimate conversation while she's alone at PCA, and it's kind of romantic. They're flirting a little bit, and Zoey does a really good job at dodging the fact that she just had an entire relationship. Chase realizes that it's PCA's prom night, so why isn't she going? He falls off the cliff one last time, the same way he did when he approached Zoey in pretty much every season thus far. And the two have a moment on the staircase where they're just catching up for a bit and eventually kiss. Oh my gosh, I forgot about all of this. I don't know why I didn't remember them finally reconnecting. Maybe because it was like within a couple minutes of the episode, not really about it that much. But like, this is such a big deal. Like, I like to see that it's finally getting its resolution. It has to do with Chase. I feel like Zoey kind of played him a little bit because she got in a whole new relationship right before she kissed him and didn't really talk to him about the relationship. It's really weird. Then we finally get the moment I've been waiting for where Quinn and Logan are outed at the prom. It's really sweet because it's Logan's thing to say. He tells everybody that he's in love with Quinn, and it's very romantic. Like, all this stuff that was like low-key building up in this season definitely paid off in a really fulfilling way. I can't believe how exciting it is to see Chase again. Like, it definitely reminded me of that 70s Shows finale where Eric Foreman wasn't in the entire 8th season but came in for the last couple minutes just to reconnect with Donna, the main character. I don't know, it just seems like it's a really romantic trope, especially in sitcoms, and having every character be here for this, maybe chasing everybody one last time, it It feels full circle. It kind of makes me feel disrespected again for James, because it's like, where is he? Michael's obviously super excited because he's been having traumatic repercussions of not having Chase around. And he has one last moment with the guy who taught him the stick shift, and he's really suspicious before he walks off on a goat or bull. I can't even tell what animal it is. All I know is that Michael is seen as crazy because Lisa does not believe he was taught to stick shift.
Would you please come tell my girlfriend that you really work here at PCA and that you taught me to drive a stick shift?
Oh, I can't do that.
Why not?
Because I do not exist.
But yeah, it seems like everybody that needed to get together got together, and it turned out okay for every character. Having them all reunite in the last couple of minutes is really wholesome. I feel like they did a good job at wrapping things up, especially considering how rocky of a ride the entire 4th season of Zoey 101 is. Like, we start out with Zoey and Chase having a long-distance relationship, then she gets in a relationship with somebody else. We stall for 10 episodes, they break up, they get together, and obviously there's some interesting things that go on in between it with Logan and Quinn, but this overall, like, such a good final way to end the series.
So Sweet Life of Zack and Cody was actually a really fun show. It reminded me a lot of Drake and Josh in that it was like two brothers bickering leads to most of the events going on. Buddy comedies are just so fun to watch. But Sweet Life of Zack and Cody was so much more than a buddy comedy. It was like a full-on ensemble show with Brenda Song, Ashley Tisdale, Mr. Mosby. They were all such lively characters in that show. So the Sweet Life on Deck got the finale. But before we talk about that, let's talk about the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody's finale. A much more disappointing piece of art, I will tell you that. I was gonna make an entire video on the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody's finale, knowing that it would have just been like a little standalone episode. I knew they didn't get a formal finale. Not only didn't have a finale, but their final episode was a clip show. It's called Mr. Tipton Comes to Visit. In this episode, Zack and Cody are going throughout the hotel because they found out that Mr. Tipton is coming to visit, and if he's in a good mood, he is going to award one of the employees $50,000. And of course, Zack and Cody wanted to be their mom because that would inherently be them too. And meanwhile, everybody else in the hotel wants this bonus. The entire episode is literally each and every cast member taking turns explaining why they think they deserve the bonus, along with a series of characters' most wackiest time. And don't get me wrong, all the moments that these characters had were super funny, but they belong to those other episodes. I don't like to count clip shows as the episodes because it's just not fair. It's not like somebody used the entire 20 minutes to tell a story. They used like 10 of them, with the other 10 being just the clips. Being the final episode of the entire show is also just a slap in the face. Like, why couldn't it just end with the episode before that? Let us entertain you. I mean, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but that's the one when they visited the Sweet Life on Deck boat before they went into the show. Yeah, pretty meta, huh? But yeah, once we see the end of Zack and Cody, like, that's it. And honestly, it looks worn out. Not only is it, like, oversaturated and the boys are looking too old for running around in the hotel, but their hair's gotten really long and it feels like nobody really wants to genuinely be there anymore. It's almost like they outgrew the show. But I do feel like that for the second half of the 3rd season in general. So why create a new show? Oh yeah, because Disney Channel didn't get Zack and Cody season 4, so they had to make it a new show. We all know this story. So The Sweet Life on Deck ran for 3 seasons and stable run. Stable as in they had a beginning and then they had an ending. And we're going to be talking about the ending here. The ending is what Zack and Cody never got. The conclusion of Zack and Cody stepping into adulthood and no longer being in school. I like that all these shows are doing that as a part of their last season. But let's dive into the episode and kind of talk about what worked and what didn't about the final episode of the series. I've never been a big fan of The Sweet Life on Deck. I think the comedy is a little worn out. I think the cuteness of the kids is nowhere to be seen. It feels like all grown up from the Rugrats, but if it were bad. You know, like it's like maturing in the wrong ways. Zack and Cody feel a little worn out, and honestly they become a little bit unsufferable toward the end of the series. Their stereotypical character personas just no longer work for me. But when I was seeing this episode, I was definitely pleasantly surprised. So everybody walks into Miss Tutwiler's class. The students receive some news, which Bailey hopes that Mr. Mosby and Miss Tutwiler are going to get married. Oh, I forgot that they were together, actually. But instead, they're telling the kids that the ship has been sold and all the seniors are going to have a week to prepare for graduation.
Yay! They're taking apart the stupid C school!
Zack learns that Maya has actually been accepted into the Peace Corps and will be assigned to the country of Chad for 2 years.
Whoa, who is this Chad guy and why are you assigned to him?
Chad is a country.
Woody and Addison are responsible for putting together the yearbook, and Miss Tutwiler is chasing London because apparently if she doesn't pass her foreign language class, she's not going to be able to graduate.
Cares if I graduate? I do! I'm your teacher! Well, you're not very good at it! I haven't even passed a foreign language!
And I could have sworn London shouldn't have been able to graduate for years. So later, Zack tells Cody that he actually needs to break up with Maya. He can't do a long-distance relationship. And he becomes, like, super emotionally distraught.
You could practice your breakup speech on me. I'll pretend to be Maya. You know what? I think I'm just gonna wing it.
But she interrupts, saying that they should have dinner later and talk about it. They hug, and it seems like Zack is actually too in love with her to probably go through with breaking up with her. Meanwhile, Miss Tutwiler chains London to the desk until she can pass Spanish class. Oh, I wish I had a teacher this committed to me.
Soy Emma. You're a vegetarian?
Cody goes through the mail and sees a letter from Yale University. Woody takes it and tries to read through the envelope despite Cody's pledge to open his letter with Bailey. He ends up finding out the word regret is in there. So Cody is about to panic because his life is almost over. He reads the rest and finds out that, yeah, he was rejected. He slumps into his bed in tears, and it's kind of depressing. Woody tries to cheer him up, but not even math will work. Cody's worried about Bailey too, because obviously if he didn't get in, she wouldn't either. Zack tells Maya that he thinks they can make things work, but Maya ends up breaking up with him anyway, telling him that she doesn't think a long-distance relationship will work. Oh, well, that's depressing.
No, we can still be friends.
No, don't touch me. I can't believe I wasted the best 3 months of my life on you.
No, baby, don't say that.
I'm not your baby anymore.
Bailey comes into the room and tells him that she did get in.
You're Mr. Oh, no.
Yeah, maybe the whole framing thing is a bad idea.
Meanwhile, London finally learns Spanish, and thanks to Miss Tutwiler, she gets to graduate.
Congratulations! Felicidades! Merry Christmas to you too!
Meanwhile, Carrie and Kurt come aboard, happily awaiting the boys' graduation, which is so exciting to see both of these characters again. Carrie in the pilot and finale, that's awesome.
Would you like a CD?
No, some child support would be nice.
And then Kurt is just a nice welcome guest. Bailey finally meets Carrie and Kurt, but she delivers bad news. Cody did not get into Yale and won't come out of his room. So Maya then tells Kurt and Carrie also that she broke up with Zack and he's not coming out of his room either. So the boys, both of their lives are falling apart, and that's exactly what I would expect at a graduation, which is so fun because you're celebrating, but you're also devastated. It's like real graduation.
I'm so sorry, and I will not be there for Thanksgiving.
She must have heard about your cooking.
Carrie and Kurt decide to split up. Carrie talks to Cody and tells him that he's brilliant and it's Yale's loss.
There's always Princeton.
The armpit of the Ivy League.
Meanwhile, Kurt talks to Zack and tells him that there will be other girls. And this is a nice throwback to the original series because it's been a while since we've seen this side of the boys. Like the ones that like actually listen and respond to adults.
But I went on the road with my band and I've done just fine.
Yeah, but I don't want to be the creepy old dude hitting on waitresses and filthy truck stops all across the country.
Hey, they've really upgraded some of those truck stops.
The parents tell the kids that the other sibling isn't going to graduation either, so they actually run out at the same time and asks each other why they aren't going.
What do you mean you're not going to graduation?
Each other why they aren't going. They convince each other to go together.
But it's... Look. Cody, forget about Yale. And forget about Maya. This is our moment, so let's get out there and have a great graduation.
And Carrie and Kurt reflect on how they raised such wonderful kids. And then Arwen's there, which is super exciting, and he's still obsessed with Carrie and jealous of Kurt, which is a really welcome dynamic to bring back.
Why'd you bring this guy?
I'm their father.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm their stepfather.
No, you're not.
At the ceremony, Cody and Bailey deliver a heartfelt speech. Bailey tries to speak, but she says she can't do it. She doesn't want to go to Yale without Cody because she loves him too much. And Cody talks her into going through with it and says they will still be together.
You deserve to go to Yale.
Yale won't be the same without you.
Yo, none of us out here are going to Yale.
Then Frankie, the construction worker, actually starts to tear the ship up already. Mr. Mosby calls Mr. Tipton and finally stands up to him, telling him that they are going to finish the graduation ceremony before this happens.
Right, but we're trying to hold a graduation ceremony here. But your daughter is one of the graduates. No, I'm not kidding.
And we finally get to see him stand up to Mr. Tipton. Like, this is a cool finale to Mr. Mosby's character arc, defending the kids. It makes us really like him. And the students line up with Miss Tutwiler, say their names in alphabetical order, and Woody thanks his mother.
Can't believe our boys are graduating high school.
I know!
Zack, for some reason, gets to make a speech himself and recites, "Congratulations to the senior class, high school, and you can kiss my..." and then it gets cut off, so obviously they were gonna have him curse. The graduates throw their hats in the air and they have officially graduated. At the juice bar, for one last time, everybody says their goodbyes. Woody and Addison hand out the yearbooks, and the friends get to sign each other's.
I'm gonna miss you guys so much.
You're coming with us to the Yankee game tonight.
I know, but that's not for like another 4 hours.
Mr. Mosby finally proposes to Miss Tutwiler, which is also a good story arc for him, and she quickly replies. London and Mosby say goodbye, but London has Mosby's number on speed dial if she ever needs help, so we know these guys are going to keep in contact, which is nice.
And thank you for taking care of me all these years.
You are welcome. I am so proud of you for graduating high school, and so proud of the woman that you've become.
She calls right away and is sad because she doesn't want to leave him. Aw, that's so sweet. London was gonna miss Bailey, so they hug, and hugs Zack and Cody before she's off to Paris.
Bye, Zack. Bye, Cody.
Actually, London,
Cody and Bailey hold hands and talk about how even though Cody's not going to Yale, Cody will still visit him and they'll see each other in 2 weeks for the math tournament or whatever. Annoying, but I'm glad the show's ending here so I don't have to see that. They share one last romantic kiss on screen, and then Bailey hugs Zack too and leaves. Mr. Mosby finally approaches the boys and tells them that he always thought that they would be the ones to destroy the ship, and admits that he will miss them. Aww. Then the twins ask Mr. Mosby where he and Miss Tutwiler will end up living, but he doesn't tell them. He wants the boys out of his life, but Zack and Cody say they'll always find him and scare him away. Oh, I think.
I don't think he wants to tell us. Doesn't matter. We'll find him.
Zack and Cody depart the ship and head off to see what new adventures await them. Zack stated that wherever they're going, they are taking the hot tub with them. The episode closes on a yearbook with pictures of the students. So yeah, overall this was not a terrible finale, but it just reminds me how we didn't get one from the original Zack and Cody show. If anything, I wish this were at the end of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, where we flash forward 3 years and get to see them graduate. But I mean, otherwise, I guess if you're a Zack and Cody fan, it's nice to get a new show, it's nice to get a new series. I don't love this one, but at least the finale was rewarding to the characters we knew and grew up with. I really wish they brought in more of them, like Maddie and Esteban. I'm sure those actors aren't up to that much, you know? Like, please, just come on one last time. You guys owe it to them. But otherwise, you know, it did the best it could. I'm so happy we get a moment where they're kind of reduced back to their old ways. Everything gets reverted back one last time before we finally head out to the real world. And that is the perfect end for a show like The Sweet Life on Deck.
I repeat, I'm naked!
Ned's Declassified has always been like a unique Nickelodeon show, doing something slightly different than Drake and Josh, iCarly, a lot of the Dan Schneider shows. Like, they had a really genuine approach to their storytelling. Now, while the comedy writing is expertise in Drake and Josh, Zoey 101, this, I would say, is best writing for kids in general. Like, there's lessons, there's a lot of really heartfelt moments. Ned's Declassified was just a point in time where they were somehow able to get people who appreciated comedy and also somehow convinced people like me who thought this show seemed a little too preachy to enjoy it. Like, it felt like a little bit a step above
one of those training videos you'd watch in like a class or something. Something really good is the third season does a great job at setting up all these character arcs and completing them by this episode. Something that other shows may not have even gotten the ability to do by this point. Zoey 101 ended up with Chase coming back. Drake and Josh ended up with Josh and Mindy getting back together. And even iCarly had their direct goodbye. Like, this one is a very close second behind that for me. Something that they did that nobody else did was really working their way up to this finale.
Rose and I are best friends, and I wasn't sure of my feelings for her. And just when I was gonna take a huge risk and ask her out, Susie moved back.
The first episode of season 3 was about the new grade, the final grade, already introducing the fact that these guys are getting ready for high school. And they even have Susie, Ned's girlfriend, move away, leaning into his relationship with Mose. Mose also gets a boyfriend, and even starts to deal with thoughts of liking her best friend Ned way before it even gets brought up.
So this is definitely a sign that Ned and Susie should be together. Not me and Ned.
It's the love story Zoey 101 kind of failed to do. And with Mose, Ned, and Cookie at the brink of their last year, things are about to get heated up as we get to the final 2-part episode, the longest episode of Ned's Declassified. Field trips, permission slips, signs, and Weasel. Yeah, it's already by the title seeming like they're trying to address it as if it's 4 separate episodes, but it's really 4 separate plots all going on.
Only it won't be fatal. It'll be you guys.
Let's remember that the creator of this show also created Big Time Rush, and they were really good at doing these overarching plots. It starts with that day in the life vibe, somehow making it about the school one last time, which I really appreciated. Like, I was excited to see them go outside the school, but the fact that they are weaving us into it is a lot better. We're introduced to the idea of field trips, the best idea that Ned's Declassified could have had, saving it for this end, which I definitely appreciate. It could have been like a one-off episode and not even been interesting, but this is the ultimate build-up.
There are signs that tell us one of the biggest and best days of school is here!
Everybody has something to deal with in this episode. Mose has to deal with her feelings toward Ned and figuring out if she wants a relationship or not and actually committing to that, while Ned wants to solidify his relationship with Susie in order to get Mose out of his head, which is definitely a guy-like thing to do. Cookie, in the meantime, is trying to get the affection of Lisa, who once used to be a nerd, and now she's pretty, and he wants her now. I don't know why we're not talking about the fact that he's so shallow that he actually has to wait for her to get beautiful to even like her. Like, that's crazy to me. The way they deal with these goals are actually really funny. Like, for example, Cookie, in order to impress Lisa, keeps going to his alter ego as the Silver Eagle or whatever, and Ned wants to take Susie to the Rose Garden to get a kiss.
And we're gonna totally make out.
You mean like this?
Mose wants to see the wild boy in the museum and actually enjoy this field trip. And it's fun because these goals are so flexible that they end up turning all on their heads constantly. Meanwhile, we have Billy Loomer, the bully, trying to get the affection of Mose in this, which is super funny. Like, I feel like he's always tried to get her, but the fact that he's super committed at this point is awesome. Like, even his bully friends, like, help him get ready. It's so adorable. The first obstacle these guys have to deal with is permission slips, which is aptly named in the title. Their biggest enemy at this portion is Krubs, who does not want them to go on the field trip because they broke a bunch of laws. Really, he's just being petty, honestly, if we have to deal with it.
Well, I guess we'll never know. But I do know Cook can't go on the field trip, so boo-hoo for you.
Did you guys ever have a teacher sabotage you from going on a field trip? Yeah, me neither. So yeah, he puts the guys in detention, and immediately 10 minutes in, I'm like, how in the world are they going to get past this? Like, already this is a convoluted special, and I'm here for it. With the buses already arriving at Polk Middle School, Ned, Mose, and Cookie are only able to get there by putting cardboard cutouts of themselves in the desks. And this is where this, like, wacky, ridiculous
comedy comes in. Like, it's just so unrealistic. That's why it's interesting to look at Drake and Josh, because theirs are pretty grounded and the comedy comes naturally, while this leans into being more kid show comedy. It feels like they're ages apart somehow. Ned gives us tips literally after they got on the bus, which is cool. We're already heavy into this. And there's just so much going on. They even try to solve plots that go on between side characters. Like, for example, Gordy comes in and saves the day for Ned, Mose, and Cookie one last time, actually helping them get onto the bus. With Krubs constantly at these guys' necks, he is determined to make sure they do not go on the field trip. And you feel bad for them because you're like, wow, there's no way they can get around this. And the writers did a good job at putting us in a position where we have anxiety for these kids, because I was taken right back to my school days and was very stressed about it. Gordy is immediately fired in this, which kind of strikes me as really intense. Like, it seems like they're not afraid to go there 10 minutes into this whole special, and I am terrified. They finally get to the field trip, and it's this really nice outdoorsy place. Finally, we're just outside of the school, and it's so much better. Mose and Ned start having a lot more awkward interactions, especially when it comes to Billy Loomer trying to vie for her attention. Like, it just seems like the stakes are pulled and pulled. The Steel Eagle, Cookie's little alter ego counterpart, ends up saving the day.
She'll love me and ask me out for pizza.
Whatever.
Against a bunch of robbers, and we learn that the robbers are just football players making a whole fake thing to look better in front of Lisa. And I've never seen this in a TV show where a superhero, just to impress a girl, like, doesn't have any powers, doesn't genuinely try to do good in the world. He just straightforward uses it as a ploy to win a woman over. And I can't believe he does this. This kind of like gets points down for me, but hey, it's interesting. We have Mr. Sweeney, the choir teacher, and a bunch of other past substitutes to create this like full circle moment. And you may be wondering where the other teachers are. Well, they're with Gordy.
And it ain't my dodgeball! Well then, while the kids are on a field trip, we're going on a hunting trip!
Now that Gordy's fired, he is no longer worried about how he comes across trying to stop the weasel, and therefore starts to put all of his cards on the deck and take them down. The remainder of the teachers that didn't make it on the field trip make an appearance, working with him to help take down this weasel. And that's a really fun goal, because then we get to see all the teachers one more time. They even get one more plot. And, you know, the adults having their own side plot, it's super fun. Ned, being so close to being caught by Krubs, pretty much has to ditch Susie at every chance he gets, and it's kind of sad. We end up seeing this guy named Willie Galt and Vanneral Wright, which are fake newscasters that have come up on the show before, like in the Spelling Bee from season 1. They just commentate on everything going on, and they're talking about how the museum actually gets involved, which is so funny and relevant. Like, do you remember going on field trips and having the teachers be like, don't embarrass us, like, don't touch anything, just make sure we look good. Like, this is why they tell us that, because in the special, the people at the museum must hate Polk Middle School, because they are dodging Krubs and starting to do whatever it takes to take down these kids as well. With everybody against Ned, Cookie, and Mose, it starts to get really stressful. In trying to get away from Krubs, Ned ends up sneaking into the museum, and oh my god, he is so close to being caught, but he's managing to get out of it by switching clothes with Coconut Head. Krubs ends up thinking that it's Ned, which honestly, I was like a full relief, because that is the best, because of course, like, you got Krubs off your tail. You're able to get away with being on the field trip. It's nice. Ned has a moment with Sweeney where he's trying to get away and hiding in a tree, and Sweeney like has the opportunity to tell on him, and he actually has a good moment and decides not to reveal Ned and let him enjoy the field trip, but he's not going to help him down from the tree. Okay, real nice teacher.
Consider this my early graduation gift to you, Mr. Bigby.
I feel like if you were a teacher and noticed that, you definitely would have to report it. Like, I can't imagine this going well. The entire museum is trying to track down the Steel Eagle and Cookie, clearly, thinking that it's so much bigger of a deal than it is. And I can't believe these kids are like going out of their way to get their goals, because at this point, it's really risky, and not only would they get kicked off the field trip, I feel like they would get expelled. Like, this has to be some, like, unforgivable stuff going on. Ned ends up being naked, which Of course, they have to do that in these kid shows because he gave his clothes to Coconut Head, and now he's screwed. He needs the help of Mose, and this is funny because she does come through for him, and it kind of leans to them being in a relationship because why didn't he call Susie? You know, like he clearly must have feelings toward Mose if he's trusting her way more. And that's like why this is a good representation of teenage love, because this is so how it is. Like, you're too awkward around the one you have a crush on, and the people you actually get to know and care for end up being like your closest friends. It's kind of like a crazy situation, but it does happen. Ned slowly becomes more and more appearing like the wild boy because one, he loses his clothes, he gets this grass skirt, and everybody's after him. Of course, he's gonna act crazy. Mose wants to finally get back at Ned by calling his bluff, because both of them are seeing signs that they should be together, and Ned is avoiding it, trying to cover it up with Susie, while Mose is trying to cover it up with avoidance. So Ned's like the anxious attachment, and Mose is like the avoidant attachment, which is why they're like definitely butting heads at this point. I would too, Mose. Like, I would be very resentful at Ned if you're having feelings for this person, they're just trying to vie for somebody else. Like, that's very frustrating.
Why don't you get your girlfriend to do it?
Because I'm naked!
Mose tries to get him back by actually inviting Loomer to the Rose Garden, where all four of them end up meeting, and this big kiss is supposed to happen, the one that Ned's been trying all this episode to get. And yeah, it's a big deal. The stakes are raised.
Somebody just kiss somebody?
Perfect time to cut away to Gordy and all the other teachers taking down the Weasel. Like, they end up destroying the school completely, which I find hilarious. The vice principal, like, acknowledges how bad this is, and all of them are so willing to help Gordy, even though it's gonna probably get him fired. Right before the kiss, though, everything comes to a head with Cookie running through and the museum employees chasing him, almost ruining the kiss, and Ned and Mose run away, listening to these signs that they should be together by leaving Susie and Loomer behind, who they both just look at each other and say, let's get back together, which that is a good representation of teenage love, like if I ever seen it. Kind of annoying because why, but you know, it's fair. I guess they worked up for that. It's a kid's show. Yeah, just the way everything culminates in like pushing Ned and Mose together, like these signs are just such a intense thing. And then meanwhile, they have this extra like fifth or sixth plot, I don't know what's going on, but there's a bunch of people trying to steal the museum art within the building, and Ned, Mose, and Cookie's hijinks happen to get in the way and distract them from defeating their goals.
Gentlemen, I hope you like money.
You're not allowed to touch the art. Punk!
Making the museum appreciative of them, and yeah, everything seems to work out. My favorite part, though, is the moment where Ned realizes he likes Mose, and that kind of makes me forgive him for all of this really jerky stuff he does as a teenage boy, like using Susie to forget about her, ditching Mose at every chance he gets. Like Ned is just not the best boyfriend, honestly, but he's trying, and it's really sweet when they have no other choice, and there's this big chase scene leading Ned to fall into the flowers. And it's such an aesthetically pleasing shot, just seeing him like in the yellow flowers, and he starts to have a musical montage of every moment he had with Mose, which is actually really sweet. It makes it seem like this entire show was building up toward that, even though it kind of wasn't. It was just this genuinely good show, trying to be funny while also relating to its audience. And yeah, it definitely related to me, especially since I grew up into liking girls as this show went on. So of course I'm gonna empathize with Ned and what he's going through. And having these plots lead to such extreme circumstances is hilarious. And it's almost really romantic to imagine how far all these three kids have come since season 1. You know, like at first they were just this awkward teens, already friends from the beginning of the show, and through all these trials and tribulations in the first season, the second season, even the third season, like they developed a really intimate relationship with each other where they trust each other.
Was I interrupting something?
We're going out now. Cool.
And their bond is stronger than most things. As you know, they have a podcast till this day, which I used to listen to it, and it's pretty interesting, but I don't follow it too well. I am sad about all this Tyler Chase stuff going on, though. Like, you know, he's this actor playing one of the main characters from Ned's, he's been having a really rough time outside of Hollywood, and obviously there's a lot of concern going around for him, and I'm not sure the best way to approach taking care for him, because I know it's very specific when it comes to like homelessness and like how to deal with their family. So it's important that he gets the resources he needs, and hopefully somebody can get him some help very soon. I know Cookie helped him, and that was really sweet. So yeah, Krubs finally has to let it go, allowing all 3 kids to win, and we get this really awesome moment where Cookie and Lisa end up together, Ned and Mose, and they head out back to the school, only to find it destroyed. And it is depressing. Like, look at this place. This is like, dang, like I can't believe they got away with this. I mean, like, why wouldn't Gordy be fired after something like this? Like, this is going too far. Even I think that this is crossing a line. Or the real principal says he's not going to let it happen. So I guess Krubs is screwed. And I don't know how they're going to go on as a middle school in general next year, but I guess that's not even our concern, because the writers literally can do whatever they want now that these guys' story arc is over. I would love to have seen this go on to another season, but the fact that it ended here was also perfect. Like, I feel like we always want more, but looking back, this is the perfect way to end it and actually get all we wanted out of these characters in one movie-like adventure that we might not have gotten otherwise. Thank God they had this best plot saved for like the very tail end of the series, because it definitely built momentum. This 3rd season leading up to Ned and Mose and like these highs and lows of their relationship and actually what they want out of 8th grade life. I don't know, it's very sweet to see them come together in a way that Chasing Zoey just couldn't compete. Like, there is no better finale than the Ned's Declassified finale, at least in the kids' TV show universe. Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go rewatch the show, because it was weird to jump in on the finale not remembering anything else. Well, guys, not everything has a happy ending. Not even the show you loved so much, specifically in 2009, had a happy ending. I'm gonna be the first one to tell you guys that, so you don't get your hopes up. Yeah, so I never said Sonny with a Chance was the best show ever, but I do really like it. I heavily relate to the idea of wanting to make people laugh as a career and getting to know people on the way that also have similar aspirations. Sonny with a Chance is so good at being optimistic, following this Sonny Monroe character who, she's like SpongeBob. She just wants everybody to get along and everything to be great, and that's what makes a genuine comedian, I feel like. So then why was she stabbed in the heart? Yeah, Sonny with a Chance was robbed of a life. Okay, well, that's a little dramatic. It was your grandmother's savings in the safe at the top of the house, but you left the keys out, so then obviously somebody got in, and you can't even blame them, because it's like, I left the keys out, it's okay. No, I'm just... But yeah, so we got season 1 of Sonny with a Chance had 21 episodes, season 2 had 26, and I think we all know, it's no secret, that the show wasn't intended to end after 26. Demi Lovato ended up going to another place. You could look that up. You know, basically, we couldn't continue the series. So, episode 26, the final episode of Sonny with a Chance, was never intended to be a finale. See, it's not every day that TV shows get the privilege of being able to continue as long as they want, but also get a conclusive ending. Sonny with a Chance is one of the victims of this network dispute. And now I know you're saying, Johnny, the network didn't cancel it, Demi left. Yes, but it was the network's responsibility to keep the workplace environment so healthy that you wouldn't revert to something like that. And while it's easy to say it was one thing or the other, it's a little bit of both. So it got through its first season super successfully. While they didn't have really a season finale, it still had Sonny coming in, having a good time, being a part of the show, overcoming obstacles, really fitting in. So it's a good show, right? Then we get to the second season. We start off strong, get a bunch of musical numbers. Chad Dillon Cooper becomes a little bit more main of a character because he's awesome. We're the episode where the skinny jeans took over all the main cast's bodies and they sang about it. Or the one, Gassy, the farting dog, passes away. I mean, Sonny with a Chance is super random. I don't have much that I can change about this. All I can do as a proud American is complain. I wish
Sonny, with a chance, got to keep going, but it didn't. But we can recognize the ideas that were started that never truly finished, and I'm not 100% sure I would have even enjoyed where this show was going anyway. So not only did they not get the finale they deserved, but it was cut off in the middle of a really important story arc. So the final episode is called New Girl. The So Random cast members are in the prop room trying to come up with a new sketch for the show. Someone suggests making a sketch show about a girl and a boy breaking up, because apparently that's what happened with Sonny and Chad, and Sonny just asks if they could just drop it and not talk about it. So the rest of the cast offers ideas about a sketch about Bunny, a nice girl who has her heart broken by evil Brad Millen Duper. Wonder who that is. Tawny adds, who runs like a girl, and they all mimic Chad running like a girl. Then he actually shows up to the prop closet, telling Sonny he's looking for his sunglasses, but it's very clear that he misses her. Yeah, you guys don't feel that? I do.
Sunglasses. I wore to the beach from that time we were dating.
Yeah, well, maybe you should try the beach.
Sonny tells him if you let those sunglasses have their moment in the sun, maybe they wouldn't have broken up with you. And he runs off like a girl. Then we have Sonny writing a song in her apartment. Okay. So the neighbor upstairs complains about the noise level, and Sonny apologizes about the thin walls. The randoms then go to their new hangout, the patio. Okay, cool. Coffee house, nice. Sonny notices there's entertainment here, where somebody's playing the guitar, and that's kind of like what she's been into lately. She's been into songwriting for some reason. She actually debates singing her songs there. So she fakes getting a drink to talk to an employee. The new employee is named Mel, and it's this girl that has a crush on Grady, the feet on the table guy. Mel tells Sonny where the sign-up sheets are, and her and Grady have a connection. Later, Sonny's at her house singing when the neighborhood yells again that she's tired of the song. Someone knocks on her door, and it turns out it's Chad, looking for his hat from when they were dating. Chad, back off. Chad notices Sonny wrote a song, so he steps in and screams with her guitar and sings himself.
Am I gonna have to come down there?
Oh yeah, do it! Yeah, come down! Woo! Didn't think there'd be a man in the house, did you? Did you? Woo.
But then we find out Mel actually lives upstairs. Yeah, she shows up to complain and realizes it's Sonny. So Mel actually is threatened by Sonny because apparently 8:30 is her time slot to sing, and if Sonny were to sing, her audience might not like it. Oof. Mel, you're just saying Demi Lovato's a bad singer? Chad jumps in and challenges her $20 if the audience doesn't like Sonny more than her. Obviously, this is tension between Sonny and Chad because they're not together and they're acting like a couple. Like, the boundary issues is evident. So we finally hit the patio and Sonny is ready to start singing. Suddenly, everybody's clapping for a joke she didn't even mean to make.
Seriously, that wasn't that funny of a joke. And that wasn't even a joke.
What is going on? It's a really funny moment, but then it's revealed that Chad actually paid everybody in that audience to be there and applause in order for Sonny to win this bet. Kind of sweet, I think. Yeah, they're all actors from the show, and he has a funny line saying that he doesn't even like them.
You packed the place with your friends?
I wouldn't do that. These are paid professionals I would never be friends with.
So she's upset, and she's like, okay, I know you mean well, Chad, but this is why we broke up, and she leaves. Oof. Harsh. So then we're back coming up with sketches with So Random, and now she's obsessing over Chad. And this is a funny part.
To go into the space program.
And the shuttle lands on Chad's moon-sized ego like we didn't all see that one coming.
Later, Sonny actually shows up to Mel's apartment, giving her the money for the bet, but she doesn't take it, because apparently Sonny was never able to sing. Oh, so this girl's actually kind of nice. She says she'll happily take the money when she actually wins the bet. Oh, so this girl's really thoughtful. Honestly, this is kind of a better Tawny. They both argue, and eventually Sonny helps Mel rearrange her furniture. At the patio, Grady, Mel... At the patio, Grady and Mel finally have a little bit of conversation, and it's revealed that both of them definitely like each other. It's very good. Sonny finally performs, but Chad comes out, and then suddenly she cannot sing the song anymore. Ooh, what's going on, Sonny? So she runs off stage, she can't sing it, and what is going on? So finally, Mel visits Sonny one more time to talk to her about the song and why she couldn't sing. Suddenly, she knows that it's about Chad. She tells her, it's definitely about you, and she has a really inspirational quote.
You know, you either wrote that song to get him out of your system or because you don't want him out of your system. Either way, he's still in your system and you need to deal with that.
Then finally she encourages Sonny one last time to get up on stage and sing that song. Later we finally get the song in a 3-minute long scene. Oh my gosh, Disney Channel just loves to break out into song like this for this long. She finally feels it and we're so happy she finally got to, although I'm pretty annoyed because I thought she was a comedian. She finally receives the standing ovation and her and Mel are good friends. The next day, Sonny and Chad run into each other at the studio, and Chad says, like, I heard you killed it, and they have a finally civil conversation that boundaries are respected in.
Good. Fine.
And they do their typical good, fine dialogue before Chad walks away, and that's kind of a really sad way to end the entire series. And finally, we see that, like, Sonny definitely still has feelings for him, and it's like, is she gonna explore them? What's gonna happen next? Oh right, this is the final episode! This is the series finale of Sonny with a Chance. Right here, right now, series finale. This show has lived so many lives. I would say like the first season was its comedy life. The second season was its like really wacky life when it was singing so much. Then we got Chad Dillon Cooper and it became more of a working with Mackenzie Fall type show. And then finally ending on like this third transition where they kind of add the patio, they kind of add Sonny singing, and then suddenly the show is kind of off in a new direction. I sometimes think that maybe it was best that it did end this way. All the introductions of this final episode are not super welcome in my eyes. Like, I am in love with what I started with, which is all these kids on a sketch show. I like it when characters get developed, but I don't like when the original premise is essentially forgotten. Like, I want to see Sonny Monroe become a comedian. I want to see her struggle with issues comedians struggle with. And, I mean, that happens a lot in this episode, but we do get more of a... They're trying to make Sonny a singer. They're trying to get Grady in a relationship. It just seems like every time they're trying to talk about the sketch show, like specifically in this episode when they're trying to figure out the perfect sketch, but Chad Dillon Cooper keeps getting involved. It's like they don't actually care about achieving that goal. They just care about talking about Chad Dillon Cooper to lead to the actual plot they want to talk about. But I was actually curious about that sketch. Like, show me Sonny struggling with this sketch because of her own emotional issues, not Sonny trying to start her own music career, dealing with her ex-boyfriend. Like, this is any episode of a TV show. I would say it's one of the weakest episodes I've seen of Sonny with a Chance in general. So not only does it stink that it ends that way, it stinks that it was going in that direction. You do have to think that, you know, when Demi Lovato left, like, this show had an X amount of episodes already ordered. Do you want to be the actors and lose your paycheck for the next 20 episodes because of one thing one other person did? No, that's not really fair. So they did have to do So Random as the third season, which I do not count as Sonny with a Chance. I mean, given the title change, it's not fun to know that this redirection of this sketch show has come from losing an actor. Like, clearly you guys didn't come in with like, hey, we have a new sketch show. It's like, oh, let's just make this a sketch show. Like, I get that they were trying to make what needed to happen, but it didn't end up being good art, and business needed to go through, you know, like they needed these paychecks, these actors were committed, but sometimes you gotta critique the art, and the art was not there after that. Why is Sonny developing a singing career? Is what I really want to know. Like, I just don't think it's necessary for her to have that passion. That sounds ridiculous, but like, it's like maybe in a scene or two, or she's passively learning a song later. But we chose the character Sonny Monroe to be the show more than the sketch show itself, and that's fine, but start that in the first episode. Sonny Monroe is funny. She's here because she likes seeing people together. She likes comedy for that reason, and sometimes it's okay to bring in a song or two. It's cool to have a crush on the next door love interest that's a star of another TV show. This is all part of the sketch show, but then when it becomes about her completely independent of this show, we lose it. So Random is what Hannah Montana was to Hannah Montana. You know, the show's about Miley, but her entire life is about Hannah Montana. So it's Miley living as Hannah Montana. Sonny's life is living as So Random. Imagine if Miley stopped being Hannah Montana completely started pursuing football, and then all these episodes became about football. That doesn't make any sense, does it? So once we lost So Random as a fundamental feature on this, and it just became about this person like Demi Lovato, it's clear that they loved Demi Lovato so much that they almost rewrote the show to make her work. And you know what? That's the show's biggest problem. I think you needed to stick to the original premise a little bit. Like, Miley Cyrus was incredibly talented, and we loved seeing episodes where she was growing up or taking on other interests that weren't singing, but something always wrapped back to the pop star persona. Maybe even the attitude of the character, the idea that there's a secret you have to keep. I kind of wanted to see an episode where Sonny explained her tan. Like, how did you get from first episode to last episode, and this tan is like completely different? That's like a metaphor for what should we have been focusing on throughout this show. I want to know what led this small town girl to ending up in LA getting a tan. Like, that is a huge identity issue, and we're not even talking about identity on this show. Like, Miley Cyrus would have talked about that on Hannah Montana, but it just didn't happen. But like, yeah, have an episode where Sonny Monroe is finally tan and maybe it affects her personality. It's just, I could think of so many episodes that would have been amazing for Sonny with a Chance. You know, so fun fact, I actually found online Sonny in the Middle from season 1. I found somebody selling their script, so I actually have this script in my possession, and obviously most people are like, okay, that's kind of like that. Is that show even popular? Why do you have a script for it? I'm like, I love it because I love Sonny with a Chance. And the first season, the show that has the best first season is also the show that failed the hardest. It's so sad to think about, honestly. And it was really promising where it started in the second season. Ego versus humility, comedy versus drama. Overall, Sonny with a Chance died trying to rebrand itself. The second season was already changing itself so much that it's no surprise that it eventually did fall flat. It has its musical era, it has its Chad Dylan Cooper era, it has its Sonny dating era, and then it goes to Sonny singing era, and then it goes to... Why? Why does it go to that? Thank God, right before you give Grady a girlfriend and Chad Dylan Cooper a depression arc. Like, I was scared to see that where that was going. So I guess this finale did work better than I thought.
You're gonna get pushed aside and only be known as that blonde chick with Miley for the next 4 years.
Come on, it's not gonna be that bad. This isn't high school anymore.
Okay guys, it's that fateful time when we come to the final episode of Hannah Montana, and I'm getting very emotional. Revisiting Hannah Montana Forever has been the ultimate source of fan service. If you guys don't know, my Hannah Montana Forever final retrospective is coming out in a week or two, but I wanted to highlight the last episode, considering I highlighted all the specials. Now, this was not only Disney's best finale, this was Disney's best show, and I can't wait to dive into how it ended and answer the question, is it a worthy finale? Spoiler alert, yeah, it is, and it's the best. The series finale of Hannah Montana is Wherever I Go, a 2-part episode, starting nostalgically as we're looking at pictures of Miley and Lily in the earlier season. Who would have taken those pictures? Like, did a photographer show up at their school? They did not have cameras back then, nor did they have the cell phones to do it. I'm suspicious. I'm suspicious now. But joking aside, it is really sweet to watch Miley and Lily reminisce and finally be ready to take the final step into adulthood, which is going to college.
I am so proud of you. I mean, you gave up the secret and you put your entire career on hold just so we could go to college together. I mean, who does that? I don't know if I could do that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you're not just my best friend. You are my hero.
Now, Miley's been having a lot of issues juggling Hannah Montana and her true identity this season. So Miley and Lily are excited about college. Meanwhile, Miley's getting offers to be a movie star and actually be a part of another film and...
You know, think of it as Joni growing as a more tolerant and compassionate person, which could very well be the most valuable lesson that she learns in college.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could look at it that way, but I don't have to because I got you.
It's kind of sweet that we're ending on a Lily and Miley episode. Like, I feel like that is truly the heart of this show, is their relationship and kind of how they bond together when times get tough, and when they don't see each other's point of view, they usually always pull through. They keep each other accountable, and I think it's important. Although, I do think Miley's a little bit harsh because
She literally doesn't let Lily have other friends even. Jackson kind of inspires Miley to essentially be rude and obnoxious around Lily so that way she's happy that she doesn't inevitably go to college with her.
She gonna be in a foul mood.
Morning, family!
Oh yeah, she's devastated.
Which does not make any sense to me. Like, that just seems like cruel. Like, why would you treat someone wrong? Like, Miley will do anything to not be honest with people or have a direct communication.
Miley, are you gonna be like this all year?
What'd you say? I can't hear you with all the racket!
They get to go test out, like, one of the colleges, essentially. Like, they stay overnight, and they even run into Amber and Ashley, who—
Oh no.
Guess who lives next door?
I know. We do.
If you weren't rich, I'd totally dump you.
who, of course, treat Miley super different now that they know the secret, and it's like this whole world kind of turned upside down. I like that we had more than one episode to digest that, because it's still crazy to accept their world where that is true. The episode kind of ends with Miley telling Lily that she's thinking about taking a movie in France instead of going to college, and Lily is like literally heartbroken.
So I guess I'll just have to take a year off. You know, go do some big Hollywood budget movie or something. 'Cause that's how much I love you. My best friend.
And they couldn't soften the blow. Like, no matter how obnoxious Miley acted, like, Lily feels betrayed. And she even goes as far as to say that she wants to move out of their house.
You're the last person I would want to go to college with. No, you're the last person that I would want to go anywhere with.
Dang, Lily. We just got like 12 episodes in, and we got so comfortable with everything the way things were, and like things were gonna wrap up. Like, seeing them argue like this is almost heartbreaking because there's something about it that feels final. Maybe because we know it's the final episode, episode 15 of season 4. Like, of course it's gonna have to go right. It just really is it's just so interesting how they're gonna come back from this.
You can't stay mad at me forever. Please talk to me.
Until I go away to college, I'm moving back in with my dad.
Jackson and Miley have a final moment where they're both on the couch talking about how much they hate their lives.
I know that things are bad right now with Lily, but trust me, the way my life is going, I would so rather be you than me.
And they kind of encourage each other to figure out what to do best, which is really nice. I love the relationships in this show. They have so much to learn from each other. Miley realizes that Lily was only really upset because Miley wanted to leave without her. And if she knew that she intended to bring her with her, that maybe she would forgive her.
That was a hint?
Yeah, she said go anywhere with. She could have stopped at college, but no, she added anywhere. Which means Paris, the place I didn't ask her to go. And why would she hint at Paris if she didn't want to go?
Jackson thinks it's nuts, but then of course it ends up working perfectly. We think Jackson's never gonna go anywhere further than the surf shop.
And I found a couple of jobs you might be good for. Yeah, at a cat hospital, cleaning up poop.
When we get one final moment with Rico, and it's a really nice moment because Rico essentially is like, you're fired, you can't work for me anymore because you need to move on in your life and do something good.
I'm only here because, well, I thought about what you said, and you're right.
That you're the result of a botched Chihuahua cloning experiment?
No.
That you could get a full workout in a hamster wheel?
No.
That you could fit your entire body inside...
Jackson!
He's such a good person now. Like, Rico just being around all these people, seeing everything he didn't know, being exposed to Miley's secret, like, he's changed in a psychologically crazy way. Like you saw him in the last episode, he was traumatized. Like, this guy is in psychosis this entire season, which is funny because he's still like true to his character and a funny guy.
I can't believe you'd do this for me.
Neither can I. But I guess when I look underneath my disgust, disdain, and utter lack of respect for you, you're my best friend.
So Miley and Lily essentially make up, and Lily accepts to go with Miley to France.
Well then, how can I say no? We're going to Paris! There's France!
So this is where it gets really nuts. They're about to leave to live in France, and Lily is essentially like, actually, I'm gonna go to college. So she's gonna stay, and Miley's gonna go. We even see Miley in Paris, which is so crazy. And kind of cool, actually. And I love that we get Oliver and Griffin one last time. They show up at the airport before Miley and Lily are about to leave to France. And it's so sweet to see them one last time and see them do a comedic bit.
Dude, why the hostility? Well, it's just that I made a huge romantic gesture, and you doing the same thing kind of makes it a little less special.
And then we find that she quit the movie to go to college with her, which is a really sweet ending. I like that they're not anti-college. I mean, of course, Disney Channel wouldn't do something like that, but it is sweet that, like, that they both took the responsible route. Like, they could have just jumped into a movie, like give into the world of fame and actually ride out Hannah's success, or they could just go through their life the same as they were. Nothing needs to change now that Miley's secret's out. Like, that is the biggest shift in their life, and they get to relearn what it's like to, like, kind of go back to your family. Ugh, and Hannah Montana is just so good at telling the story that fame is not the solution to anything. And, like, sometimes you get so wrapped up in the idea of being recognized or being wanted that you get a little spoiled. All around, like, a really crazy end to the series. I remember hearing the showrunner on a podcast talk about it, and he apparently didn't want them to end the series a certain way. I'm not going to get into the details, but apparently the network asked Miley how they want the series to end, and she's the one who chose it. Isn't that insane? I feel like if we had to sum up this entire show, it's like this girl and her family as she's navigating this world of fame and celebrities and losing herself in the glitz and glamour of it all, but always coming back to what she knows is safe, what she knows is true, and watering the relationships that she has. And the show's really good at giving her karma when she does the wrong thing. And she does the wrong thing a lot. Like, I cannot excuse half of the stuff she does on this show. I know it's just a character, it's just a show, but, like, she's kind of crazy. Like, this isn't, it's a little beyond toxicity, but it's okay because it's a story. But it is kind of crazy meta. A lot of what Miley was experiencing throughout filming these TV episodes inevitably did happen to her life. Like, I wonder if that really prepared her to experience life the way her character did, or it encouraged her to try to see a different outcome. Either way, I'm very much on Miley's side. I love Miley Cyrus, and I was so happy when she broke out into doing what she really loved, movies and more music. You know, she lives in our hearts through the movie and all these episodes, and they did just such a good job at finalizing this show. Doing these retrospectives, because I started with Hannah Montana season 1, like that was my first one, has been like such a joy, and it's been so fulfilling to look back on Hannah Montana specifically, because I definitely connect to everybody on the show. Like, there's a empowering femininity around it I could imagine I would have if I were a girl or a boy, and this show, like, really makes me feel like the things I go through are so valid, and the people I tease and the friends I make and the family I argue with, it's just so authentic, and it will forever be one of the best shows in my book. Now, let's talk about best finale of a TV show. Yeah, we covered some good finales this year, and these, to be clear, are good ones. Like, I'm not saying this to be ironic, it's not like the best finale, it's like, no, like, which one genuinely ended in a really good way. Our first contender is Drake and Josh's Really Big Shrimp. Now, while episodically it's not numbered as the very final episode, we all know it's the finale. Like, it's a lot of character arcs concluding, and it's everybody moving on from what was going on. They have Helen getting married, they have Josh and Mindy getting back together. A lot of full circle moments that Drake and Josh really needed, especially toward the tail end of its run. And it's still a travesty that that show didn't go on for longer, because it was phenomenal. But yeah, Really Big Shrimp is when Drake gets the record deal and Josh becomes his manager. It feels like Drake and Josh goes Hollywood, but more set at home. And yeah, it's a really genuine attempt at a finale. Then we have Wherever I Go. And Hannah Montana, going through the 4th season of this year, actually breaking down every final episode, I swear, it was just so good. Like, they really took 13 episodes to slowly put Hannah Montana to rest in the most fair way possible. With every episode focusing on something different, they had to kind of make work
in order to give us closure. The last episode, it became more about Miley going to college instead of like giving up her secret or moving on. There was a lot to develop. And we see Miley, Lily, Oliver, like everybody comes back one last time. And it's just, they have clip shows, it's heartwarming, it's just everything about it is like what a finale should be. So it's hard not to put this on the list. Then of course something that's not so surprising is iCarly's I Goodbye. Now in this one, Carly wants to go to the dance with her father, and we think that this guy's coming back for this episode. He doesn't, spoiler alert, and it becomes more about Spencer trying to keep this promise to Carly, all the friends trying to come together, and Carly eventually deciding to move on with her life. I Goodbye does a good job at giving every character their like last moment together in a surprising way that wasn't done on any other show. Victorious never got this kind of finale. Like, this was not super usual for what was going on. So we're looking at iCarly, Hannah Montana, and Drake and Josh. So the winner to this one, it's literally got to be Hannah Montana. I'm sorry, guys. Like, they did such a good job, and I know we're not counting, like, the whole final season, but if you are just looking at the finale wherever I go, it covers so much and in such a profound way. It's not just the finale to a 4-year show about a teen pop star. It's a really heartwarming conclusion to a teenager's life as they navigate to college. And yeah, iCarly was a close second. I feel like them making moves in their own personal life, like Carly moving away, was definitely really monumental. But nothing will compare to the secret of Miley being revealed and her dealing with all the fallback of that. Like, it was set up since the very first episode. So of course they're gonna end on a really high note.